Are you ready to really understand what the line to hermit is all about? But wait, isn't a hermit a smelly old man with long matted hair and a beard, living on a mountain in a cave? So what's that actually got to do with your human design? So welcome to the Line to Hermit Demystified. Today I'm going to show you what this archetype is really all about. It is not a smelly old man on top of a mountain. In fact, it's quite a fascinating archetype. And I'm also going to give you 3 keys to really understand the line 2 more deeply. So let's dive in. As I've already said, this is a really fascinating archetype. Now, although I can kind of see why Ra Uru Hu, the founder of human design, labeled the line 2 as a hermit, other than the fact that he liked to come up with labels that were a bit shocking, it doesn't quite resonate with people nowadays. So I like to think of this archetype as being the genius inventor. This still doesn't fully capture what it's all about, but hopefully it sheds a little bit more light than the hermit. So when I'm thinking about this archetype, I like to think about some of those characters in movies or books, particularly ones for kids, something like the absent-minded professor, or maybe Caractacus Potts in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, if you've got a long memory or you like watching old movies, as an idea of what this particular archetype is about. They were the people who had their natural genius and they'd go off and tinker away to see what they could create. So that's why I think of it being like, this genius inventor, could be a natural genius inventor. So to me, this is truly what the energy of a line 2 is about and what it's intended to bring out into the world for everybody else. So with this one, there is a natural pull towards, time tinkering with ideas or physical things. Of course, to be able to do that, you actually need to be away from people who might demand your time or energy, or may simply come along and interrupt you just as the time the genius is about to strike. Does this sound familiar to any line 2s? So the first key to the line 2 that I'm going to talk about is actually accepting who you are and what you're here to do, accepting that you are here to explore and become really, really skilled at things in a way that just seems effortless to others. And you also have this ability to see things in a totally unique way. So this is about having your own way of perceiving things and your own way of moving through them and altering them as you move through. So this first key is the one that I find I would say every line 2 I've come across actually struggles with the most. And this is even more the case if they're projectors. And this is because projectors find it difficult to truly see who they are anyway. And this kind of adds an extra layer to that. So you are here to be a natural genius in particular areas of your life, and you'll be naturally drawn to what those areas are. So because this is your genius, you don't actually see the real magic that's happening within you. It just seems to come easily to you. And of course, the things that come easily, we often don't really value, do we? It's sort of this idea of, well, I find it quite easy, so everybody else must find it easy, right? For you, this is totally wrong. Now, one of my nephews is actually a line 2. And even from early childhood, I can remember him being a really basic little toddler waddling around, but he just had this natural ability to pick up sports equipment and do stuff with it. And as he got a little bit older, he just seemed to excel at any sport that he got interested in. including to the level where he was like state champion, maybe going to the Commonwealth Games, possibly until he gave up on it. So, it was almost like even at that very early age, he would be able to pick up a basketball and just know what to do with it. And his skill level was above a beginner. It was quite incredible to watch a little kid of maybe about 3.5, being able to kick around a soccer ball with much better skills than his older brother and some of the adults there as well. So it really is a naturalness that you're bringing forth. So the second key is to be aware that people will want to shine a light on what your true genius is. So this is going to be the area or areas, it can be multiple, where you can come up with innovations, new ideas, special skills, all of that kind of thing. How does that actually work? This is kind of a magical bit around line twos, I think. So line twos have an ability to attract attention because to other people, they feel just a little bit elusive. There's this person hiding away in their cave. We don't know what they're up to, sort of, but we know when we see them, all of a sudden they're this amazing genius at something. And we want to tap into that genius. I'm saying we because obviously I'm not a line two. So there's this really unknown quality to you that creates a desire in others to actually call you out and contribute to their life through your natural genius. So people will actually seek you out and in some cases literally beg you to come and help them with whatever it is. So be aware of that, line twos. Watch for it. What are people constantly coming to you about? What are they actually asking for help with? What are they saying? Come over here and, help me to understand and do this. Because whatever that is that happens with some level of constancy, this is what you are here to bring into the world. This is the one thing that you're here for, or more than one, because line twos can have different interests in their life. They can have different interests and skills across their life. But what I want you to do is listen, observe, and say yes to the people who are calling you out if it feels in alignment with your strategy and your authority. All right, this brings us to the final key, which is actually allowing yourself space to be the genius. Now, this key can be challenging depending on what other line is partnered with the line two in your profile. So that's something I'm going to talk about later on in this series, and we can unpack that a little bit more. What a great thing is, and that what I encourage all line twos to do, is to actually set up a space for you. This is your own space, your own personal cave where you know that you can go to do the things that come naturally and that you truly love to do, that give you energy when you do them. So create your own personal cave, this place where you can almost set yourself apart, be alone, have fewer interruptions, so that you can actually work through all of these interests and natural geniuses that you're here to bring. This archetype is really intended to thrive by having time alone to work through different things, to play around with different things. There's a playfulness to a line two as well. And the fact is that you're not going to thrive if you are constantly with others. But equally, you need to be aware that you are not to spend all of your time alone, which is the other thing that I find with line twos that I meet and work with. Some resist that alone time until they're given permission to actually set up their own cave. and some struggle to come out of their cave. So don't resist, unless it's not aligned with your design, of course, when people are calling you to come out and share some of this natural genius, whatever it is that they keep on asking you for. Remember, this is part of why you are here. This is part of your purpose. And, essentially, I like to think of the fact that every line has their own role to fulfill in the world. And aligning to that keeps you energetically aligned, but it also helps everybody else to be able to step into their genius as well, whether it's natural or not. I don't want you to be like my father, who is aligned too, who across his life essentially allowed his introverted nature, his shyness almost, to turn away the people who were calling him to come out of his cave and to help them. Now, what this ultimately meant was that his natural genius didn't truly get a platform to blossom. He didn't get to make a real difference for others. And he had some amazing skills, amazing physical abilities that were just never fully expressed. So I'm Marianne from Human Design Alchemy. I'm a human design reader, coach, mentor, healer, all of those things. And I just want to thank you for joining me today. If you found this video valuable, please subscribe below and check out my recommendations for what to watch next. Now, in the description below, you'll also find lots of different options for expanding your understanding about line 2 or just human design generally. And if you would like a $22, it's Australian, taster remote human design reading, this is where I can dive into your profile. I can dive into other aspects of your design, depends on how much you know. It's suitable for everyone, but you can also check for the link down below as well. So thanks for joining me for today. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one.